Welcome to Vivid webinar with our focus today on project and portfolio management. What is new with version 9.42? Our speakers today are Jay Kreckler, Senior PPM Product Manager at Micro Focus, 20 years experience in that realm, and Sylvia Davis. She's the Senior PPM Product Manager for Micro Focus, longtime Micro Focus team in the ADM space. So that's today's event. So if you've signed up for that, you're in the right place. This event is sponsored by Micro Focus, and with the emphasis of making sure that Vivid members are aware of what's happening in the PPM space. My name is Rocky Pisto. I'm your host today. I'm a Vivid Lug and SIG leader for a long time. So again, you've seen our speakers. And if you've registered for this event, you should have gotten an email for an online survey from the PPM team, and with the purpose of making sure you're getting what you want out of the product and any thoughts you may have that may improve the PPM product. It's a great way to hear from the customer what the expectation is for maybe future releases on the product. The survey takes a few minutes, and Micro Focus is making it worth your time, if it wasn't already, by making you eligible for one of the Amazon gift cards. So take advantage of that after this webinar, and please fill out the surveys. These things are very important for the product teams, and anything you can do to help make the product run a little smoother or add functionality that you're hoping it can handle, make sure you put that information into the survey. And if you weren't aware, by all the social media marketing at this point, Micro Focus has two events coming up. In one, they've got their Universe event in Monaco, which should be a great event. That's coming up in March. And then the ADM Summit here in the States is back in Dallas in April. So make sure you sign up for those things if you can make it. There's for those that are part of the CAB, looks like for CAB nominations, contact Jay Kreckler or Sylvia Davis if you want to be a part of that. And just so everybody knows, this is a live session. It's being recorded so that Vivid members can go to the on-demand area and catch this webinar if they're not able to make it today. And there's a button here at the top that allows you to enlarge this to make it full screen so you can see it a little bit better. And in our webinar control panel, there's a place where you can ask questions, and we'll try to get to them during the webinar. If we can't, we'll send these questions to the PPM team to answer, and when we send you the email of the recording, you'll have the answers there as well. And secondly, you see the little blue arrow on the left there at the bottom where you see the U.S. flag. Depending on your nationality, you can click on that country, and you can type your questions in your native language, and we'll see them in our case, in the English language. So that's available to you. And with that, I think I'm handing it over to Sylvia Davis to kick off the webinar.
Yes, thank you, Rocky. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, good. So good morning and good afternoon to everyone. It's always exciting to talk about what's new here with PPM. This version actually is not as that new. It was launched at the end of last year, but because of the holidays, etc., we thought that was better to just to relaunch here with you guys beginning of this year, where everyone is fresh, and I'm sure that you have your goals set for this next year, right? So we're going to go to what's new with Micro Focus, give just a quick overview about the joint company and ensure our business with you guys. We are going to talk about what's new. Jay is going to present, and then he's going to go over as well in details what we brought in is new in the last few releases, and I will do a quick demo. And the demo is going to be very quick, but you know what? We are going to be also provide you additional workshops where we can go in more details with each type of functionality. So be aware, sign up for our blogs, and we're going to be in touch with you guys as well. So about Micro Focus. So now we are Micro Focus, fully company, acquired and merged now with other new portfolio. And the interesting part, I don't know if you guys know, but Micro Focus has 40 years in the market with several companies that they acquire. And one of their major business as well is Cobol and SUSE, right, with the Linux. And then you can definitely see that, there is like in some way legacy software systems, and there is also very new software and platforms that we are investing on. And with that, we bring Hewlett-Packard software with tons of other acquisitions in terms of ADM, security, big data, and also operations. So it's 40 years plus 30 years. Of course, I was not even born that time. I'm kidding. But anyway, now we are becoming a very large company. So from number 28, that was Micro Focus, and number 12 is HP Software. We are now combined number 7. So it's very good in terms of the, I would say, market space and also revenue. We are $4.4 billion. Compared to very large companies. So we are a pure software player now in the market with a very large portfolio to support your business, not just in the PPM area, but in many other areas. And our mission, of course, is to continue to develop and bring innovation to support your businesses. We are developing faster. We are adopting Agile, Enterprise Agile, DevOps in our own environment. And then our goal here is to provide an end-to-end solution for you to manage your applications within IT. And then with that, right, guys, we have now a very large portfolio, right, that supports DevOps from the application planning, development, portfolio management with PPM, integrate with several Agile solutions and requirement solutions that came from Micro Focus, to also manage release management as BPM does some of that, and we have also other solutions to also support a more extensive piece of deployment. We have the operations side of the house with service desk monitoring, automation with cloud security, that's very key today, and big data with information governance, and also the Linux. So with all of that supporting the data with the vertical big data analytics, and then we are bringing that to our products as well. So the interesting piece is that we are, as they say here in America, eating our own dog food, right? We are using all of that and applying all these new trends and technology to bring the best product to you. So that's a very quick information about how Micro Focus is positioned and how we are committed to still deliver the best solutions for you guys, include PPM. So with that, I go and give the hand now to the floor to Jay Crackler. He's going to be talking about PPM solution, and then also about the news, what's new in the portfolio. And then with that, I'm going to do the demo afterwards. Jay, with you now.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvia. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Sounds good. So thank you, everybody, for taking some time today to get caught up on PPM from Micro Focus. As Sylvia sort of set the stage for you, this is an exciting time for PPM because we're now in a pure software company. We have our CEO who loves the product personally. His staff is using it. And we're certainly going to plan on investing and innovating this platform as we go forward. And it's kind of an interesting new world right now, the PMO world. where everybody's sort of being forced to move faster. Kind of once-a-year planning cycles are giving away to either quarterly or in some cases even more than that if they're doing Agile. And as you'll see, what we've done in the 9.42 release is really set the stage for using PPM in an Agile world while still retaining the fact that most of our install base, most of our customers are still managing waterfall projects, but they're certainly under the gun to articulate how they're going to shift this into more of an Agile world and meet not only software lifecycle development goals for Agile, but just basic business agility. A lot of times the push for Agile is more than just a software item. It's really more of a business challenge. So for Micro Focus, we are focusing a lot on the portfolio management aspects during 2018. As most customers know, the hierarchy in PPM has always been project, program, and then that can all roll up to portfolio. And historically, the project layer has had the most functionality, the most capabilities. Project layer always had its own specific workflows, its own request types. It had features such as calculated health. And the program layer and the portfolio layer, although we've had those for many years, were not as fully functional. We're more lightweight. And all that's changed. So for existing customers that have already moved to either 9.40 or 9.41, you've noticed we put a lot of investment into the program layer in the last year and a half. We're now aiming our sights up at the portfolio management layer. So let's take a look at what's new. Specifically, again, we're talking about 9.42, which is the current release of our product. And as I said, we're really focusing in on portfolio level, and I'll go into some detail on what does that mean and how are we approaching the portfolio level. Enterprise Agile, again, the call to action that we're hearing from a number of our customers is that for either business or software lifecycle reasons, we're moving more towards Agile. We need to figure out how we can keep PPM as a single point of truth and an important tool, even as some of our teams are adopting some team tools that focus more on an Agile capability. I'll also talk about some improvements to the platform and the user experience that we're investing in. For program management, as I mentioned earlier, program management was a high point of emphasis for us in sort of the first half of 2017 and a good chunk of 2016. So the good news is the product today, your GA product today, has an enormously upgraded program management function. And this is a screenshot here. We'll show you a demo a little bit later in the presentation. But basically, we've beefed up program such that you can do legitimate program management with the tool. It's more than just a roll-up entity at this stage. So we have program-specific workflows. We have a completely refurbished program management overview page. And you can track and measure things at a program level. We also have, for example, you can now build time against a program if you're using time management. So program, although not identical to project management for obvious reasons, has come a long way and it's now very much a bona fide capability in the PPM product. So with program, with some good investment in program under our belt, we're now kind of aiming more towards the portfolio manager. And, portfolio management, like I said, we've always had this module in PPM, and it serves some good purposes, such as having good roll-ups to a portfolio level and getting financials rolled up. We've had tools like portfolio optimization and scenario comparisons, but what we're doing now is reinvesting in that and introducing some new concepts that are more valid and more relevant, especially as a lot of enterprises are moving more towards the Agile capability. So you'll see that we've introduced some new entities and some new terminology in PPM. For example, you can now create an entity called an epic. Epic is really more of an enterprise Agile type terminology, and this is stuff that we're going to be integrating not only into sort of the bread and butter PPM, but also we use PPM in conjunction with Agile tools through some of our integrations. So let's talk about portfolio management. Again, we've created a whole new landing page from a user navigation perspective. When you click on portfolio management, it's no longer a drop-down. It just takes you to the new landing page, and you get access to the new capabilities. You can have your landing page either the card view, which is displayed here, or the table view, depending on your preference. A new concept that we talk about in portfolio management now is this notion of value-driven. So a value-driven portfolio helps you make decisions based on, what is the best value to my business? And we give you the capabilities. Each business is different. So what constitutes value, say, for a bank might be different than what constitutes value for a mining company, as an example. So we give you the capability to define your business goals and then assess your portfolios against what is the value to our company. So we've also introduced the notion of defining and adding KPIs, or key performance indicators, into the product. Really, the way I would describe the 9.42 release, which came out in September, it's setting the stage for a lot of things that we're going to be improving upon in 2018. We'll do a couple of releases in 2018, and portfolio management is going to be one of the key investment areas, but building on what's already in 9.42. So 9.42 is a good release to upgrade to if you have upgrade plans in the first half of this year. So I mentioned earlier that for several years, we've had a feature in PPM called scenario comparisons, and we're going to keep that. We're not getting rid of anything as we charge forward with new portfolio capability, but we have added a new scenarios capability in 9.42, and you access this via a tab on your portfolio overview page. This scenario capability is more in line and more in tune with the new capabilities that we're adding. So although we'll keep our, I guess what we could now call our legacy scenario comparisons, this is the area where we'll be investing in more on portfolio scenarios, and it's much more integrated right into the portfolio landing page. Also, we're giving you the capability of monitoring your portfolio. So, at some point in time, you're going to do your portfolio planning. You're going to make decisions. You're going to say, okay, this is the portfolio we're going to go with. And now we give you the ability to monitor that in the course of the year or quarter as you go through. And, you can have the ability to aggregate sub-portfolios. You can look down at the individual projects or proposals. We do have a timeline view which aggregates the schedules and milestones. Some folks would call our timeline view the roadmap view. Those terms are sort of interchangeable. But again, this is new stuff that we've done in 9.42. So the portfolio investment is there in 9.42, and again, that'll be one of our emphasis points in the current year, 2018. But let's also talk about Enterprise Agile. Enterprise Agile is an important area for us. This slide that I'm showing now, this is not a Micro Focus slide. This is more of an industry slide. It comes to us from SAFE, for Scaled Agile Frameworks. And that URL there on the bottom of the slide is a very nice website. It's very informative, and you can just click through on any of these icons to learn more about it. But the bottom line is that, Agile has been around for many, many years, more at a team level, and some big minds in the industry together and to figure out, well, how can we scale this? If I'm a large bank, how can I scale Agile and get the proper benefits to my company? And there are many of these. This SAFE is not the only enterprise framework out there. There's several others. But this one shows it's very much a layered approach. So you have the team at the bottom, you have portfolio at the top, you have some layers in between. PPM's role is primarily at the top, at the portfolio level, and we are thus integrating our PPM tool with Agile team tools. Whether that happens to be a Micro Focus team tool, which we have a couple of products, Agile Manager and ALM Octane, which have Agile team capability. There's also third-party products out in the industry, such as Jira, that we now have an out-of-the-box connector to and can integrate with. So the name of the game is for PPM, and if you want to do the full layered approach of Enterprise Agile, you're going to have to use a team tool. It is not our intent to build a team tool right into PPM. We're not going to reinvent the wheel in that sense, but we are going to make it very easy to integrate with team tools, both our tools and other tools, and provide these connectors out of the box and continue to invest in useful use cases. So again, let's focus at the top now, more at the portfolio layer. And again, there's new terminology to be learned as you venture into the Enterprise Agile world. We already talked about this idea around epics, but strategic themes, again, this is probably stuff we've all been working with for many, many years, but now these frameworks are kind of codifying it and putting specific meaning behind strategic themes. So basically, it's to drive the portfolio innovation and help you differentiate in your business so that you can make your investments, in this case IT investments, help your business differentiate from the competitors. So as I mentioned, our approach to Enterprise Agile is going to be providing the portfolio layer capability out of the box as part of the PPM, but at the same time integrating to the popular Agile team tools that are on the market. So we do have today, we have adapters for ALM Octane, which is a Micro Focus product, CA Rally, Jira. There's another tool out called version 1. Micro Focus also has a tool, Agile Manager. We have connectors for these out of the box, and the plan is to continue to invest in these and add useful use cases across these adapters depending on what the market demand is. So let's take a look at the Jira Connector just as an example where today out of the box you can integrate at a project management level. So if you have a project defined within PPM, you can integrate that work plan and sync certain data fields that you might be using in this other tool called Jira. And again, comparable use case, comparable capability is also found in our own product, for example, ALM Octane as well. Various options on how often you want to sync, which fields you want to sync. Again, a lot of this is terminology that comes out of the Agile world, and we're going to not only this, but retaining, as I said, we still retain all of our waterfall project management capabilities, and really our world view at Micro Focus is most customers will adopt some level of hybrid capability where Agile capabilities may be important in certain areas of the business, more traditional waterfall, or there might even be a project where you want to have kind of milestones or gateways that are more waterfall oriented, but the execution in between those milestones is done more from an agile perspective. Talk about epics. So I said epics is a new entity. It's in PPM, so you can now create a new epic. You can approve those in the tool. Again, this is early days for adding epics into PPM. We do plan on improving the capability and the usefulness of it over time. But today you can relate your epic to an external agile tool. Today that's limited to ALM Octane or Jira, and monitor that and configure PPM to integrate and keep in sync with what's going on down at the team level for the agile tools. Again, epics are a capability and more of a terminology that in this case is pretty well defined in the SAFe framework, but other frameworks are starting to adopt that terminology as well. So let's talk now about, what are some of the things that we've done from a user experience perspective. Now, PPM is a mature product, which is great. The benefits of a mature product and a product that has been on the market for many, many years is it's battle tested in production and scales well. But the flip side to that is that we have to continually invest in some new user experience capabilities to make sure that everybody appreciates the product and that you can get good adoption across your enterprise. ChatOps is one of the kind of horizontal capabilities that we're building out at Micro Focus, and we've adopted this sort of for now, a proof of concept stage where we can improve our collaboration features within PPM. So this one is, we've put it out there as kind of a proof of concept for now, but it's something that we're looking at in terms of adding to the product on a more permanent basis. Now getting down to, again, specifics of 9.42 and what were some of the key enhancement requests we did. I mentioned earlier, you can now report time against a program. Previously, you had to report time either against a project or task or specific request. Now you can log those hours against the program itself. We've made some user capability improvements in the staffing profile. Some nice things like configuring what you want as the default columns in your staffing profile, or which columns you want to have as required. From another resource management feature we've done is made it a lot easier to systematically remove invalid resource assignments, kind of cluttering up certain tables for customers in the past. We have improved the whole REST API help system. I know, when you need to integrate PPM to other systems in your enterprise, whether that might be a financial system or some type of directory, the REST APIs are starting to be used a lot more. And we've improved the troubleshooting and the help center as well. So some good enhancements. 9.42 is a very good release. If you're not on it yet, then I'd recommend thinking through an upgrade for that. There were a few changes around the platform metrics. We added some more current support if you're running it on SUSE Linux, Solaris. By the way, Micro Focus, we own SUSE Linux, so that's part of our portfolio as well. From a client perspective, browsers continue to be a challenge for all enterprise software vendors, simply because the browser vendors are revving their browsers continuously and make significant enhancements almost monthly. So, we're adapting to that world, and if you have any issues with your browser, let us know. But we formally support, Safari and Chrome. We've always supported IE and Firefox for some time now, but also will support the Mac OS and Safari combination. So we've been expanding our client support. And as I mentioned already, we have out-of-the-box integration adapters to Octane and Jira for some of the enterprise Agile use cases. So at this point, let's take a live view of 9.42. And Sylvia, I'm going to turn it back over to you for the demo.
Yes, sure. So let me share my screen with you guys. I'm going to put my screen here, and I'm going to share my screen. Let me know, guys, if you're seeing my screen. I'm going to just move things around here. Okay, perfect. You might be able to see PPM now. That's version 9.42. And let me minimize this here. So guys, something important here, I'm going to focus more in the portfolio, a little bit of program, and also the integrations with Agile that I want to show you guys today. So as you can see, if you haven't seen version 9.42, and as Jay mentioned, we have a new portfolio. We still have the legacy portfolio view, but we still have also this view with portfolio. So we can still switch back and forth with both views and both capabilities of the portfolio. But as Jay said, we are investing more and more to provide you more features and capabilities in this new value-driven portfolio. As you can see, the financial overview hasn't changed too much, but you can see also your actual costs, the current versus forecast versus approved budget, and also see the depletion, what the forecast is, right? So you can see for multiple years here, 2017, 16, 18, right? You can change the years that you're looking at. Just take me a little bit of the time to refresh my screen here. And then also you can see through months and also through the year. Let me just refresh my screen. Yeah, there you go. So I'm just changing the years, 2018, and then here I can see monthly, or I can see also quarters. And I can also see only CAPEX or OPEX, right? So you can basically see along the time how much you are spending in your quick view of the investments throughout the year. So if I go back here to 17, it's where I have even more content to show. So within this view here, we have these new tabs. This look and feel is totally different from the previous version. So I go to content. The content now is easier. It's like you can also select what is part of your portfolio, programs, proposals, and assets in one screen. So before it was a little bit more separate, a little bit more of work on that. But as you can see here, tons of proposals, projects, assets can be part of your portfolio, as well the programs, and you can also have the sub-portfolio. Actually, I just want to go back here to the sub-portfolio page and then show you one quick thing here. I'm going to go open my portfolio management main screen, right? And then I come back to one level before. So here's the whole view of all the portfolios that I have. So we call it tile view, right? And you can have also the kind of table view. And if you want to see the previous view, that's the hierarchy, also that's available. So I'm going to just click here. You can see like I have the advantage, and then within that I have the different types of portfolios within the major portfolio. So Advantage has sub-portfolios, IT organization, and application portfolio, different types of portfolios within the same high-level portfolio. So as I mentioned, everything is still available, even though we have this whole new view that you can see right away all the portfolios with simple summary in how the portfolios are behaving. This is a very good view for executives as well. And if they see that something is not right in terms of finance, they can drill down and find what the issues are. So going back to the Advantage one that I was showing initially, so that's the financial view. The contents, so I have the content that's part of this portfolio. I have the programs and proposals. And then instead to go to epics now, I want to focus more on the portfolio content. We come back to the epics in a second. So we do have the scenarios, something very nice. We can very, very nice from these scenarios now is that we have unlimited number of scenarios that can be created. So if you can see here, I have like 4 scenarios created and can navigate easily from scenario to other scenarios. And then in the previous version, we are limited to 3 scenarios per portfolio, right? Now you can create as many scenarios you want. And then it's easier to create scenarios now because whenever you create a scenario, everything that you have in your portfolio is going to come as in scope contents. And you can simply like select a line, and then actually selecting the line, you can exclude from out of scope. Kind of very simple is a way to kind of select or unselect. We are working to bring also the portfolio optimization within this new view, but you can still use the portfolio optimization from the previous versions, okay? So very quickly, actually, I click here in the CRM one word, one of the programs and one of the projects that we have. So from there, you can also navigate and see information from your projects or programs depending on where you are. So I'm going to go back here. So from the scenarios, again, very easy to drill down, navigate, like you check if that project really should be part of the scenario or not, right? And then you have a quickly view of cost versus budget versus benefits and also versus capacity, okay? So and then you can have like a planning scenario, active scenario, full pipeline, 2-year scenarios, you name it. You can make and have as many scenarios you want. The interesting piece is like full pipeline scenario, you're definitely going to see that we cannot deliver everything. And that's one of the challenges within IT organizations or outside of IT. When you have a portfolio, how much resources do you have? How many projects do you have? And then can you deliver on that, right? And right away here, I can see that I can deliver and I need to manage that. It's basically here the very high level number out of the scope, and then you need to balance also the resources in between the time frame. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of the scenarios analysis, scenarios comparison, especially nowadays that we are in this fast pace for DevOps and digital transformation, where we need to make decisions very fast. So with that, we have the timeline, and then the timeline is very good because you can see basically everything that you have in your portfolio and comparisons in between the time frame that you're going to deliver the items. So let me just refresh my screen. Sorry, it's taking a few minutes here to show, and I apologize for that. I'm using our sandbox environment. And then, as I mentioned that, guys, if you have interest to even touch the PPM, this version 9.42, we have sandbox that we can make available. Just contact myself or Jay. So as you can see here, I have my Advantage portfolio, and I have a couple of proposals, so the portfolios, right? And I can see some kind of very important dates related to my portfolio, which is completed, which is delayed, which is active, and I'm looking at today's date, Q1 18. But I can see quickly what is the pipeline and what's my time frame, if there is any major things for approval or some major milestones that needs to be accomplished, that gives you a quick view on that. And then I'm going to show the roadmap. That's very similar, but in a very more high level. And that's where we are also moving our portfolio to the product also capability. There is still some other features to be added in here. But the cool thing is that you can also, as a product manager, have a visibility in the portfolio related to products that you're delivering to the businesses. So here I have my portfolio, and I have the roadmap with some major timelines in terms of what I'm going to deliver on that particular period from like 2016, 17, and I can even go a year more. So now I'm going to go back to strategy. As I talk about timeline, roadmap, scenarios, something important, and that's where we bring the value-driven capabilities, right, is basically not just benefits in terms of investments or even resources, but you can create your own business goals. For this portfolio, we attached the following business goals, like, for example, improving the operational costs, right, reduce the discount, or maybe even focus in customer experience. So there is some kind of value-driven value for the businesses also that we can embed it in here. And then you can also do some measurements. Like, for example, as I click here, I can see that those are on track. There is some KPIs here that haven't start. There is some also KPIs that miss actually to accomplish that in that particular period. And how we do that, so I'm going to click in one of those, right, just for you guys to see. You can create your own KPIs, your values for measuring the programs and projects. And then what we do here, once you define the KPIs for this portfolio, you can attach these KPIs to projects and programs to measure how that's behaving, how that is going. So let's say I can say past year here, right, for this particular KPI that's improving costs, right? It's on track. What's my aim to? What's my target? By when, right? And then what am I going to measure and which projects and programs are related to that. So I can also attach these goals to specifically projects and programs and bring the results right here. And quickly you can see what's happening within these KPIs. And quickly, if you see that there is no results in the past few days, you can definitely see what's happening, why is not accomplished those data, and then take some actions and some risk analysis within your portfolio and programs and projects. So that said, I'm going to move to the epics. So as Jay mentioned, in these new versions, we have been investing a lot for Enterprise Agile. So Agile is a common name now for the enterprise, for the companies when they are evolving and developing more for the digital transformation and for digital applications, focus more on each user. Several companies have adopted Agile completely. Several companies are in the progress to adopting. But when you have many teams with Agile, right, what happens is sometimes it's hard to manage how those Agile teams are performing and also what they are delivering. So with the epics now also, we can start managing a little bit more the details of what the Agile teams are doing and how they are doing and if they are delivering according to the business, as well the resources and also the progress in those projects. So with that, we add this new capability. We have two capabilities actually for Enterprise Agile. One is a capability to integrate the projects to the Agile project solutions and bring the information through PPM. In a project, you can have multiple types of Agile projects connect to that. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then within the portfolio, right, let's say that you have a request business requirements, and you might have pieces of those requirements that are going to go to the Agile teams. So that's where you create those big major requirements. That's basically epic, right? The concept about epic is like this major requirement that's going to be piecemeal in small capabilities and then smaller even features and smaller stories. And an epic actually can have two directions. The epic can create also, I would say, a requirement that's going to be like create a minimum viable product, right? So the development is just going to create that particular product and then analyze if that's a product that's going to be visible for the market and then decide if that product has a life cycle or not, right? And then the concept of epic is also, let's say, you might have some requirements that's going to be a product, and this product is going to be basically in production and is going to have a life cycle as any other particular product or application. In this case, I can add additional epics because portfolio can have multiple requirements, multiple, I would say, business needs but I'm going to click in one here that I have created before. And then within this portfolio epic, I basically do a description about what the requirement is, right? There is a couple of information about me that's creating that particular requirement. And I apologize, this delay is not because of the product, it's because I'm accessing this instance for the first time in my machine, actually this particular machine, and then the cookies are being updated. But that's why the delay here. But as you can see, I have this new mobile app for Black Friday, right? The status is in implementation, right? And then descriptions is for sales and marketing. I can put more details here. And then this related epic is going to go to relate to my ALM Octane. That's my Agile tool. And then here, the good thing is that I can also add a relation, not just with or Octane, but I can also add a relation with Jira. So we have the integration with both. And then I'm going to show you how this integration is done. And I just show here the instance that I have already predefined with Octane. And again, this time is just because of my cookie that's refreshing. Okay, there we go. So I kind of defined my Octane before. And if I select this instance and go next, it's going to ask me for my logging. Let me just try to log in here. And then I can say which project I am kind of relating that, right? And I can click here. Let me just go to this one and add, right? And then I am going to go to, and then doing a completion of that. So it's related. And then I can see that relation right away from the Octane point of view. I can open the Octane and see the integration, and the Octane is going to bring back the progress and also the story points back to this particular epic that was created. Let me just click here one more time, and okay, there we go. So I'm going to log in here. I haven't logged in before, and not everything is Micro Focus yet, as my login here is still HPE. And then sign in. And it helps if I type my password. And there we go. Okay, so I have kind of some security issues here to open my Octane, but I have accessing other instances here. But that's basically connected to my PPM team workspace in my instance here that I have access, opening and showing basically my Epic Create in the PPM team workspace. So it's going to take a couple of seconds to open here, the Octane, but going back here, whenever I click on here and add a relation, as you can see, it's still opening my workspace in Octane. But the interesting piece is that you can also do that on Jira. As it's open, yeah, it's opening now. Okay, there we go. And then I can go ahead and basically open my workspace and see my item. But in this case, whenever I click here in my related epic, it opens directly in my either Octane or Jira environment. So I want to do a pause here now and just show quickly. This is basically my instance where I have some configuration done. As you can see here, I can go to my administration, and it's very easy to do these integrations with my Agile tools. I just go to my Open Admin Enterprise Agile, and then here is basically all my instances that I have already open. As you can see here, I have PPM Workspace, I have Octane, I have also some stupid projects. So I have several instances where I have Jira, I have Agile Manager, and then also Rally, right, in version 1. And then here in the Octane, I can show you how we do this integration. So very simple to integrate. I can update my instance, say what's my base URL, my proxy, and then also my client ID. I can do integration with timesheets, right? I can do integration with my Workplan, where I can have multiple projects from different Agile tools integrate with my project plan. Also, I can have project portfolio epic, And then also I can have the, how do I call, the time. So time, work plan, portfolio epic, and resources. So, so all of that can be combined together within my integrations for all these additional products that we have. And then I have here some kind of synchronization, sync Agile data from select Agile products, and also I can synchronize in between Agile projects and epics. And then I can request also the mapping in between the tools. So I can say which type of request, which type of entity I need mapping with each particular product. So in between Octane or in between Jira or Rally or even AGM. I'm going to go here to the Rally, for example, right? I can also tell what type of connection or request mapping in between the fields I have or I want. So that said, that's a little bit more of the integration that I want to show you guys today. Remember, this here can be available to a sandbox for you guys, so you can play a little bit with this new version, 9.42. And we are going to be also provide you guys with some additional details, workshops to show details in how to create your scenarios, details in how to create your epics, or details also how to create your, how do I say, the strategy with the KPIs, because this is something that also I'm sure that you guys might be interested to see in details how that works. So as we're approaching more the end of the webinar, I want to do a pause now, go back to the presentation, stopping sharing my screen, and then I want to do a pause here for questions.
Yeah, Sylvia, there's a ton of them. James Jurniak has a bunch of them. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Rocky, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I didn't know which ones you wanted to take. I'm not sure if you can see them, Sylvia, but we can start with a few here. I'll try and read them. Jay, do you see number 6? Is that something we can answer?
I see number 6, but I don't understand it.
Okay.
It's probably integrate SSET, MAGT. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it could be just spelling related. How about number 7?
Yeah, so the financial summary, the program management has always had its own financial summary. That's still the case in the improved program management. I think there was also some questions on what APIs are there to integrate the financial summary to other financial systems. And yeah, overall, we've had for many, many years kind of the older style web services called SOAP, S-O-A-P. And over time, we've been augmenting that with RESTful APIs, which are more modern and add some other capabilities. We do have customer-facing manuals that address both, so you can see which modules have some of the RESTful APIs. Directionally, we're going to continue to cover the whole product with RESTful APIs, but we've done like a few of those each release going forward. There was also kind of some overall questions like, given your emphasis this year on portfolio, does that mean you're really slowing down your investment on project management? And although each year we do emphasize certain areas, this year we're emphasizing portfolio, last year we emphasized program, we still invest in the other key modules. And the key execution area for project, resource, time, we continue to invest in. For example, last year, even though program was the emphasis, we made a major investment in project management by essentially overhauling the entire Microsoft project integration to PPM and making that easier and better with the whole file transfer drag and drop approach as opposed to the older Microsoft plugin that we had used. So yeah, when we emphasize a certain module, it's not to the exclusion of others, but we do tend to rotate that emphasis year to year.
Okay.
My phone dropped. I'm back.
Oh, great, Sylvia. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of questions.
Yeah, so those are very good questions. Let me get some of those questions here and then read out, and then Jay and myself, we can basically answer some of those, right?
Yes.
I think that's a good one here. Let me just, actually, there's many good questions. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to
And we've got about 4 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most of these questions we can answer in email offline because we're just not equipped to do it in real time. There is a question I saw regarding, there was a slide on browser support and they didn't see Microsoft Internet Explorer. That was only because we didn't add a new version of Internet Explorer support. We definitely support Microsoft IE Internet Explorer. That's a supported browser for sure. We're still hammering out a few issues on their Edge browser, but as far as IE 10, IE 11, we support that fine.
That's great. And again, we'll be sending out this recorded video or webinar along with your answered questions, so you'll have time to answer them properly offline, and then
Rocky,
it'll be part of it.
Yeah. Maybe just one more
Sure.
or two more. There is kind of a good questions here. Like,
No, go ahead.
What's the value? What's the value? What do you get from integration with Agile tools? I think this is a very good one too. Not that others are not, but this one a good one about the value. So as we move it to the enterprise Agile and companies are adopting more and more Agile, there is a need that portfolio managers need to manage a hybrid portfolio. Because sometimes we don't have a visibility on what's happening with Agile teams. So the benefit is also to bring the data and also do some pre-analysis in terms of what is going to be invested and also manage the deliverables within the Agile solutions. So in a team, sometimes when you do applications, you might have hybrid types of project teams. You might have an Agile team using Jira, maybe another Agile team using Rally, and maybe another Agile team using Octane. And then on top of that, you might still have some Scrum fall processes, right? So doing some developing Agile, some development in hybrid, and then also the release maybe not in DevOps, maybe still waterfall style. So when you have that mix, right, you need some tool to kind of consolidate all of that project management together within the programs and portfolio. So the major value is to bring the visibility and capabilities of it, fast decision making, where to invest, and also progress and how to adapt to it, the fast digital transformation that's happening. Anything else, Jade, about the value that you want to add?
No, I think that's good. I think that brings us to the end of our hour.
Yes. So as Rocky mentioned, we are going to answer all the questions. Please feel free to contact us. I'm going to put here our email address as well, right? Jay and myself are going to be happy to help in anything that you guys need. And if you need also access to the sandbox, let us know. Yes, and Annie Marie asked me about the winners for the Amazon card. Yes, we are going to send an email to everyone. Annie Marie, if you want to talk about the names of the people that won.
Sure, I can do that. Mm-hmm. So we've got some winners, early winners for the Amazon cards from the survey, and they would be David Palsky, or Palak, P-L-A-S-E-K, and then Abraham Delgado, Deborah Malaki, and I think there was Did I miss one? Let's see. Abraham, Deborah. I thought there was one more. I must have got him. Okay. Those are the winners of the $25 gift card, or some of them. And I know that people that are filling out the surveys, they'll be selecting names from that as well. And we've gone through some of the Q&A. What's coming up next from a Vivid webinar perspective is our SIG Talks in Quality and Testing, coming up February 13th. And this is a new platform. It's kind of our TED Talks of, from a Vivid perspective, end users talking about their experience with the technology, showing some scripts, showing some things that they're doing in that particular space. So take advantage of that. We'll be actually starting ITOM SIG Talks coming up in March as well for folks that are in that space. So at the end of this webinar, if you can, please complete the short survey. Kind of keeps us, if this was useful, allows you to opt in to hear more from Micro Focus. And with that, I think we're done. Sylvia and Jay, thank you today for the presentation. Great job. Good feedback, good information for the PPM users of the Vivid community. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to see you guys soon. Bye.